Gun Galleria here. Today we're having a look at a couple of variations on the CZ52, sometimes called VZ52. I believe its official classification is a VZ52. When you look at VZ52, you may come across rifles. These are the pistols. The pistols are usually chambered in 7.62x25 Tokarev. This one is actually chambered in 7.62x25 Tokarev. Now, of course, you see a little difference here. This is because this is a chromed CZ52. Aftermarket grips. Pistol was chromed by CAI. It was imported and then chromed. It was sold as an officer's model. Now, CZ never actually sold a chromed version of this gun, but CAI did. It's clear. Typical function, safety, and decocker. Not ambidextrous. No slide release. There are aftermarket that you can get to, add a slide release if you wish. I find it easier just to remove the magazine, but I think I've done enough with just adding the grips to this. Now, I also actually went and this is what the typical mags look like on a CZ52. This is what I ended up ordering. These are stainless, and they have a blued follower, and they had a blued plate, but I stripped the bluing off using vinegar so that it would be more uniform. And these are stainless steel magazines. One thing to note is the base is longer, so it doesn't sit as close to the grip as the other one. You could say, okay, well, you can modify it by filing down the back, bringing that back, and having to cut a notch further up. I didn't want to go ahead and modify it any further than just taking off the bluing. CZ52 standard function, hold open. As you can see, the barrel is not chromed. So when they chromed these guns, they did not chrome the barrel. Heel release. Now, these are great for takedown. That's it, done. I mean, that is very slick and designed. So easy to take down. As you notice, they did a very good job chroming just about every single part of this gun as possible. I mean, they did not leave any part, untouched except for the barrel. So this is what was called an officer's model. These were sold as a, premium over your standard. Serial numbers match barrel, slide, and frame. So this is something that was being sold, I believe, late 90s, early 2000s, before they banned importation of a lot of guns from the Eastern Bloc or Russia and places like that, surplus. Now, that is the chromed model. This is not chambered in 7.6225. This is chambered in 9mm. It is empty, safe. So these were actually done by Brno. These were not converted prior to, export. These were not, like this, which was being sold as a premium model. Now, during the earlier times, back when I bought my first CZ52, you could buy the 9mm or 7.6225. You could also buy barrels to convert your Tokarev to 9mm. Now, that's not necessarily a great idea. In this instance, this was done by Brno. This was properly converted to 9mm. And the reason I say that is barrel is marked for 9mm. Okay. And it is serialized to the pistol. The slide has been blued, so the slide finish has been changed. And the extractor is also been changed. This was changed by Brno. Now, from my understanding, is the extractors vary. So if you do not change out your extractor for doing 9mm, you may end up with function issues every now and then. Doesn't say that it'll happen that way all the time, but you know, it is one of those things that does happen more often because this part isn't changed for a 9mm. Now, takedown, same, no different, but you know, love the roller locking mechanism on these. These are a very solid gun, very solidly built, very utilitarian in a way. Some people call them ugly. Some people, you know, just like the way they look. I personally like the way they look. Safety decocker functions the same. No slide release. Magazines, they are not marked any different. They are still the standard 7.6225 magazine. And you can fit a 9mm round in there perfectly fine. This one, obviously, somebody prior to me put a set of aftermarket wood grips on it with the CZ markings. But again, this is a VZ52. This one, again, was made in 1953, just like this one. This one in 96, by the looks of it, based upon these markings. And this is another thing you can dig into, are these markings that you find on these pistols. They give you indications of when they were, you know, factory refurbished or arsenal refinished or whatever. You know, importation marks, all that fun stuff. This one happens to have a 1996 mark on it. And this is, you know, this is one of the Brnos. But all the other markings are your standard military markings. All your serial numbers are in the same typical locations. But this one happens to have a 9mm barrel. And this one has a 7.6225 barrel. Now, I went ahead and purchased another barrel and rollers and everything else necessary in order to convert this to 7.6225 Tokarev, just because, well, it's 9mm. If for some reason I had this odd idea I wanted to change it back over, I could. It's not really something that's going to happen, though. But anyway, just wanted to show what some different kind of variants you're going to find out there for a CZ52 than you might normally come across on, like Gunbroker, Guns International, stuff like that. These very rarely pop up. I may have seen one other. 9mm you see quite more often, but the problem is some of them are those 9mm drop-in barrels. Keep a look when you're looking at one. Look at the slide. Is it blued? Is it parkerized? Have a look at the extractor. You know, that is steel polished, not blued. And its shape is a little bit sharper towards the back here. This one's much more rounded. This one's sharper. And the markings in here. Does the serial match the gun? If not, it's probably a drop-in barrel. The ones that are actually Brno, like this, matching serial all across, extractor's been changed, slide has been blued. These are your more functional 9mm. Anyway, I appreciate you watching, and tune in again next time.